Adaptations in plants. In a particular place, there are usually lots of different kinds of plants growing together. This collection of plants is known as plant community. Plants grow in places where the climate is suitable for them. They need right kind of soil too. Different plants need different climatic conditions. Some plants grow in hot deserts and some in very cold places. Some plants grow in water, some underwater, some on hills, and some even grow on other trees. The living or dwelling place of a plant or an animal is known as its habitat. Sometimes the plants have to adjust according to the environment by changing some of their parts. These modifications in the structure and function of an organism to adjust the various habitats are known as adaptations. Let us study different habitats of plants. There are two main habitats of plants, terrestrial and aquatic. Terrestrial plants. Plants that live on land are called terrestrial plants. The word terrestrial came from the word terra, that means land. These plants are found in the following regions: plains, mountains, wet marshy areas, hot dry deserts. Plants in plains. Trees growing in plains have more space to spread out. They have flat leaves. These help water vapor to evaporate and keep the tree cool when the climate is hot. Flat leaves also help to trap a lot of sunlight. Some of these trees lose all their leaves at once. This happens mostly before winter in autumn season. These trees are not evergreen. As the spring approaches, new leaves start growing. The peepal and mulberry are trees like these. Plants in mountains. The trees in these areas are called coniferous trees as they are tall and have shape like that of a cone. The conical shape helps snow to slide off their branches. Pine, deodar, and fir are some such trees. They have leaves throughout the year and are called evergreen trees. Tea plants grow in hilly regions. Steppe farming is done in hilly region. These plants need heavy rainfall. Darjeeling and Assam are famous for their tea gardens. Plants in coastal areas. Coastal areas are near the sea. The water is salty and the climate is humid in these places. The trees grow in coastal areas are of coconut, pepper, and rubber. This is because the climate and water here suit them. They are called evergreen trees. They do not shed all their leaves at once. A few leaves are lost once every year. Plants in deserts. Water and rainfall are scarce in the deserts. So plants growing in desert regions have stems that can store water like cactus. Some plants in the deserts have long roots so that they are able to go deep into the soil to absorb water. They have a protective covering in the form of thorns that saves the plants from animals. Cactus, babool, prickly pear, and date palms commonly grow here. Plants in marshy areas. A marsh is a type of wetland that is often submerged in water. The plants that grow in this area generally have soft stems and are particularly adapted to these wet conditions. Generally, marshes receive their water from the surface, but certain marshes receive this moisture from groundwater. The trees that grow here have aerial roots that grow above the ground. They take air from the atmosphere as the air does not reach the roots. The Sundarbans near Bay of Bengal is a wet marshy place in India. Mangroves grow here in plenty. Aquatic plants. Plants that grow in water are called aquatic plants. Some plants may grow in rivers, lakes, or ponds. They are freshwater plants. Some may grow only in sea, salt water. They are known as marine plants. Aquatic plants are of different kinds. Floating plants. The roots of these plants are not fixed to the mud of the pond. They have light and spongy stem. Air-filled space in the stem make them light. The light stem helps the plant to float on water. Water hyacinth and duckweed are floating plants. Fixed plants. These plants have broad and waxy coated leaves to prevent them from rotting. They have long hollow stem to reach the surface of the water. Their roots are fixed to the bottom of the pond. Lotus and water lily are fixed plants. Underwater plants. Underwater plants are rooted to the water's floor and most of their vegetation is underwater. The leaves of these plants are thin and narrow. Examples of underwater plants include hydrilla, tape grass, and pondweed. Insectivorous plants. These plants are carnivorous in nature. Their leaves are modified to trap insects. The Venus flytrap has leaves that are like boxes with hinges. They have long hair along the edges. When an insect touches the hair, the leaf snaps shut, trapping the creature inside. Another example is pitcher plant. Its leaves are in the form of a container or pitcher with a lid to cover the mouth. Known green plants. They do not have chlorophyll. Indian pipe and coral root are known green plants. Saprophytic plants cannot make their own food and absorb food from dead plants and animals.